Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome back to the Cepher Daily Readings. I am Trish. Thank you for stopping by to follow along, and all praise and glory to the Most High Yah, Yahuwah, in the name of the Son, Yahusha HaMashiach. Blessed is his name, and thank you so much for this Shabbat, this holy day of rest. It is a set-apart time. It's the fourth commandment. Remember to keep the Sabbath. That's how the fourth commandment begins. Remember to keep the Sabbath, the Shabbat. Well, we are in Jasher, Yashar, chapter 26. And in the 59th year of the life of Yitzhak, the son of Abraham, Rivkah, his woman, was still barren in those days. And Rivkah said unto Yitzhak, Truly I have heard, my Adonai, that your mother Sarah was barren in her days, until my Adonai Abraham, your father, prayed for her, and she conceived by him. Now therefore stand up, pray you also to Elohim, and he will hear your prayer and remember us through his mercies. And Yitzhak answered his woman Ribkah, saying, Abraham has already prayed for me to Elohim, to multiply his seed. Now, therefore, this barrenness must proceed to us from you. And Ribkah said unto him, But arise now you also and pray, that Yahuwah may hear your prayer and grant me children. And Yitzhak hearkened to the words of his woman. And Yitzhak and his woman rose up and went to the land of Moriah to pray there and to seek Yahuwah. And when they had reached that place, Yitzhak stood up and prayed to Yahuwah on account of his woman, because she was barren. And Yitzhak said, O Yahuwah Elohim of heaven and earth, whose goodness and mercies fill the earth, you who did take my father from his father's house and from his birthplace, and did bring him unto this land, and did say unto him, To your seed will I give the land. And you did promise him, and did declare unto him, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand of the sea. Now may your words be verified, which you did speak unto my father. For you are Yahuwah Eloheinu. Our eyes are toward you to give us seed of men, as you did promise us. For you are Yahuwah Eloheinu, and our eyes are directed toward you only. And Yahuwah heard the prayer of Yitzhak, the son of Abraham, and Yahuwah was entreated of him, and Ribkah, his woman, conceived. And in about 7 months after, the children struggled together within her, and it pained her greatly that she was wearied on account of them. And she said to all the women who were then in the land, Did such a thing happen to you as it has to me? And they said unto her, No. And she said unto them, Why am I alone in this amongst all the women that were upon earth? And she went to the land of Moriah to seek Yahuwah on account of this. And she went to Shem and Eber, his son, to make inquiries of them in this matter, and that they should seek Yahuwah in this thing respecting her. And she also asked Abraham to seek and inquire of Yahuwah about all that had befallen her. And they all inquired of Yahuwah concerning this matter, and they brought her word from Yahuwah and told her, 2 children are in your womb, and 2 nations shall rise from them. And one nation shall be stronger than the other, and the greater shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were completed, she knelt down, and behold, there were twins in her womb, as Yahuwah had spoken to her. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And all the people of the land called his name Isu, saying that this one was made complete from the womb. And after that came his brother, and his hand took hold of Isu's heel. Therefore they called his name Yaakov. And Yitzhak, the son of Abraham, was 60 years old when he begat them. And the boys grew up to their 15th year, and they came amongst the society of men. Isu was a designing and deceitful man, and an expert hunter in the field. And Yaakov was a man perfect and wise, dwelling in tents, feeding flocks, and learning the instructions of Yahuwah, and the commands of his father and mother. And Yitzhak and the children of his household dwelt with his father Abraham in the land of Canaan, as Elohim had commanded them. And Ishmael, the son of Abraham, went with his children and all belonging to them. And they returned there to the land of Havilah, and they dwelt there. And all the children of Abraham's concubines went to dwell in the land of the east, for Abraham had sent them away from his son, and had given them presents, and they went away. And Abraham gave all that he had to his son, Yitzhak, and he also gave him all his treasures. And he commanded him, saying, Do you not know and understand Yahuwah is Elohim in heaven and in earth, and there is no other beside him? And it was he who took me from my father's house and from my birthplace, and gave me all the delights upon earth, who delivered me from the counsel of the wicked, for in him did I trust. And he brought me to this place, and he delivered me from Kasdim. And he said unto me, To your seed will I give all these lands, and they shall inherit them when they guard my commandments, my statutes, and my judgments, that I have commanded you, and which I shall command them. Now, therefore, my son, hearken to my voice, and guard the commandments of Yahuwah Elohika, which I commanded you. Do not turn from the right way, either to the right or to the left, in order that it may be well with you and your children after you forever. And remember the wonderful works of Yahuwah and his kindness that he has shown toward us, in having delivered us from the hands of our enemies. And Yahuwah Eloheinu caused them to fall into our hands. And now, therefore, guard all that I have commanded you, and turn not away from the commandments of your Elohim, and serve none beside him, in order that it may be well with you and your seed after you. And teach you your children and your seed the instructions of Yahuwah and his commandments, and teach them the upright way in which they should go, in order that it may be well with them forever. And Yitzhak answered his father and said unto him, That which my Adonai has commanded, that will I do. And I will not depart from the commands of Yahuwah Elohai. I will guard all that he commanded me. And Abraham blessed his son, Yitzhak, and also his children. And Abraham taught Yaakov the instruction of Yahuwah and his ways. And it was at that time that Abraham died. In the 50th year, and it was at that time that Abraham died, in the 15th year of the life of Yaakov and Esau, the sons of Yitzhak. And all the days of Abraham were 175 years. And he died and was gathered to his people in good old age, old and satisfied with days. And Yitzhak and Ishmael, his sons, buried him. And when the inhabitants of Canaan heard that Abraham was dead, they all came with their kings and princes and all their men to bury Abraham. And all the inhabitants of the land of Haran, and all the families of the house of Abraham, and all the princes and grandees, and the sons of Abraham, by the concubines, all came when they heard of Abraham's death. And they requited Abraham's kindness, and comforted Yitzhak his son. And they buried Abraham in the cave which he bought from Ephron, the Hittite, and his children, for the possession of a burial place. And all the inhabitants of Canaan, and all those who had known Abraham, wept for Abraham a whole year, and men and women mourned over him. And all the little children, and all the inhabitants of the land wept on the account of Abraham. For Abraham had been good to them all, and because he had been upright with Elohim and men. And there arose not a man who feared Elohim like unto Abraham, for he had feared his Elohim from his youth, and had served Yahuwah, and had gone in all his ways during his life, from his childhood to the day of his death. And Yahuwah was with him, and delivered him from the counsel of Nimrod and his people. And when he made war with the 4 kings of Eliam, he conquered them. And he brought all the children of the earth to the service of Elohim. And he taught them the ways of Yahuwah, and caused them to know Yahuwah. And he formed a grove, and he planted a vineyard therein. And he had always prepared in his tent meat and drink to those that passed through the land, that they might satisfy themselves in his house. And Yahuwah Elohim delivered the whole earth on account of Abraham. And it was after the death of Abraham that Elohim blessed his son Yitzhak and his children. And Yahuwah was with Yitzhak as he had been with his father Abraham. For Yitzhak kept all the commandments of Yahuwah as Abraham his father had commanded him. He did not turn to the right or to the left from the right path which his father had commanded him. Chapter 27. And Esau at that time, after the death of Abraham, frequently went in the field to hunt. And Nimrod, king of Babel, the same was Amraphel, also frequently went with his mighty men to hunt in the field, and to walk about with his men in the cool of the day. And Nimrod was observing Esau all the days, for a jealousy was formed in the heart of Nimrod against Esau all the days. And on a certain day, Esau went in the field to hunt, and he found Nimrod walking in the wilderness with his 2 men. And all his mighty men and his people were with him in the wilderness, but they were removed at a distance from him, and they went from him in different directions to hunt. And Esau concealed himself for Nimrod, and he lurked for him in the wilderness. And Nimrod and his men that were with him did not know him, and Nimrod and his men frequently walked about in the field at the cool of the day, and to know where his men were hunting in the field. And Nimrod and 2 of his men that were with him came to the place where they were, when Esau started suddenly from his lurking place, and drew his sword, and hastened and ran to Nimrod, and cut off his head. And Esau fought a desperate fight with the 2 men that were with Nimrod. And when they called out to him, Esau turned to them and smote them to death with his sword. And all the mighty men of Nimrod, who had left him to go to the wilderness, heard the cry at a distance. And they knew the voices of those 2 men. And they ran to know the cause of it, when they found their king and the 2 men that were with him lying dead in the wilderness. And when Esau saw the mighty men of Nimrod coming at a distance, he fled, and thereby escaped. And Esau took the valuable garments of Nimrod, which Nimrod's father had bequeathed to Nimrod, and with which Nimrod prevailed over the whole land. And he ran and concealed them in his house. And Esau took those garments and ran into the city on account of Nimrod's men. And he came unto his father's house, wearied and exhausted from fight. And he was ready to die through grief when he approached his brother Yaakov and sat before him. And he said unto his brother Yaakov, Behold, I shall die this day, and wherefore then do I want the birthright? And Yaakov acted wisely with Esau in this matter. And Esau sold his birthright to Yaakov, for it was so brought about by Yahuwah. And Esau's portion in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham had bought from the children of Heth for the possession of a burial ground, Esau also sold to Yaakov. And Yaakov bought all this from his brother Esau for value given. And Yaakov wrote the whole of this in a Cepher, and he testified the same with witnesses, and he sealed it. And the Cepher remained in the hands of Yaakov. And when Nimrod, the son of Cush, died, his men lifted him up and brought him in consternation, and buried him in his city. And all the days that Nimrod lived were 215 years, and he died. And the days that Nimrod reigned upon the people of the land were 185 years. And Nimrod died by the sword of Esau in shame and contempt. And the seed of Abraham caused his death as he had seen in his dream. And at the death of Nimrod, his kingdom became divided into many divisions. And all those parts that Nimrod reigned over were restored to the respective kings of the land, who recovered them after the death of Nimrod. And all the people of the house of Nimrod were for a long time enslaved to all the other kings of the land. Chapter 28. And in those days, after the death of Abraham, in that year, Yahuwah brought a heavy famine in the land. And while famine was raging in the land of Canaan, Yitzhak rose up to go down to Mitzrayim on account of the famine, as his father Abraham had done. And Yahuwah appeared that night to Yitzhak, and he said to him, "Do not go down to Mitzrayim, but rise and go to Gerar, to Abimelech, king of the Pelishtim, and remain there till the famine shall cease." And Yitzhak rose up and went to Gerar, as Yahuwah commanded him, and he remained there a full year. And when Yitzhak came to Gerar, the people of the land saw that Ribkah, his woman, was of a beautiful appearance. And the people of Gerar asked Yitzhak concerning his woman, and he said, "She is my sister." For he was afraid to say she was his woman, lest the people of the land should slay him on account of her. And the princes of Abimelech went and praised the woman to the king. But he answered them not, neither did he attend to their words. But he heard them say that Yitzhak declared her to be his sister. So the king reserved this within himself. And when Yitzhak had remained 3 months in the land, Abimelech looked out at the window, and he saw, and behold, Yitzhak was sporting with Ribkah his woman. For Yitzhak dwelt in the outer house belonging to the king, so that the house of Yitzhak was opposite the house of the king. And the king said unto Yitzhak, "What is this you have done to us in saying of your woman, she is my sister? How easily might one of the great men of the people have lain with her, and you would have then have brought guilt upon us." And Yitzhak said unto Abimelech, "Because I was afraid lest I die on account of my woman. Therefore I said, she is my sister." At that time Abimelech gave orders to all his princes and great men, and they took Yitzhak and Ribkah his woman and brought them before the king. And the king commanded that they should dress them in princely garments and make them ride through the streets of the city and proclaim before them throughout the land, saying, "This is the man and this is his woman. Whosoever touches this man or his woman shall surely die." And Yitzhak returned with his woman to the king's house, and Yahuwah was with Yitzhak, and he continued to wax great and lacked nothing. And Yahuwah caused Yitzhak to find favor in the sight of Abimelech and in the sight of all his subjects. And Abimelech acted well with Yitzhak, for Abimelech remembered the oath and the covenant that existed between his father and Abraham. And Abimelech said unto Yitzhak, "Behold, the whole earth is before you. Dwell wherever it may seem good in your sight, until you shall return to your land." And Abimelech gave Yitzhak fields and vineyards and the best part of the land of Gerar, to sow and reap and eat the fruits of the ground until the days of the famine should have passed by. And Yitzhak sowed in that land, and he received 100-fold in the same year, and Yahuwah blessed him. And the man waxed great, and he had possession of flocks and possession of herds and great store of servants. And when the days of the famine had passed away, Yahuwah appeared to Yitzhak and said unto him, "Rise up, go forth from this place, and return to your land, to the land of Canaan." And Yitzhak rose up and returned to Hebron, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all belonging to him as Yahuwah commanded him. And after this, Shelach, the son of Arephaxad, died in that year, which is the 18th year of the lives of Yaakov and Esau. And all the days that Shelach lived were 433 years, and he died. At that time, Yitzhak sent his younger son Yaakov to the house of Shem and Eber, and he learned the instructions of Yahuwah. And Yaakov remained in the house of Shem and Eber for 32 years. And Esau his brother did not go, for he was not willing to go, and he remained in his father's house in the land of Canaan. And Esau was continually hunting in the fields to bring home what he could get. So did Esau all the days. And Esau was a designing and deceitful man, one who hunted after the hearts of men and inveigled them. And Esau was a valiant man in the field, and in the course of time went as usual to hunt. And he came as far as the field of Seir, the same is Edom. And he remained in the land of Seir, hunting in the field for a year and 4 months. And Esau there saw in the land of Seir the daughter of a man of Canaan, and her name was Yahudith, the daughter of Beeri, the son of Epher, from the families of Het, and the son of Canaan. And Esau took her for a woman, and he came unto her. 40 years old was Esau when he took her, and he brought her to Hebron, the land of his father's dwelling place, and he dwelt there. And it came to pass in those days, in the 110th year of the life of Yitzhak, that is in the 50th year of the life of Yaakov, in that year died Shem, the son of Noach. Shem was 600 years old at his death. And when Shem died, Yaakov returned to his father to Hebron, which is in the land of Canaan. And in the 56th year of the life of Yaakov, people came from Haran, and Ribkah was told concerning her brother Laban, the son of Bethuel. For the woman of Laban was barren in those days, and bore no children, and also all his handmaids bore none to him. And Yahuwah afterward remembered Adinah, the woman of Laban, and she conceived and bore twin daughters. And Laban called the names of his daughters, the name of the elder Leah, and the name of the younger Rachel. And those people came and told these things to Ribkah. And Ribkah rejoiced greatly that Yahuwah had visited her brother, and that he had got children. Chapter 29. And Yitzhak, the son of Abraham, became old and advanced in days, and his eyes became heavy through age. They were dim and could not see. At that time Yitzhak called unto Esau his son, saying, Get, I pray you, your weapons, your quiver and your bow. Rise up and go forth into the field and get me some venison, and make me savory meat and bring it to me, that I may eat, in order that I may bless you before my death, as I have now become old and gray-headed. And Esau did so, and he took his weapon and went forth into the field to hunt for venison as usual, to bring to his father as he had ordered him, so that he might bless him. And Ribkah heard all the words that Yitzhak had spoken unto Esau, and she hastened and called her son Yaakov, saying, Thus did your father speak unto your brother Esau, and thus did I hear. Now, therefore, hasten you and make that which I shall tell you. Rise up and go, I pray you, to the flock and fetch me 2 fine kids of the goats. And I will get the savory meat for your father, and you shall bring the savory meat that he may eat before your brother shall have come from the chase, in order that your father may bless you. And Yaakov hastened and did as his mother had commanded him. And he made the savory meat and brought it before his father, before Esau had come from his chase. And Yitzhak said unto Yaakov, Who are you, my son? And he said, I am your firstborn, Esau. I have done as you did order me. Now therefore, rise up, I pray you, and eat of my hunt, in order that your soul may bless me as you did speak unto me. And Yitzhak rose up, and he ate, and he drank, and his heart was comforted. And he blessed Yaakov, and Yaakov went away from his father. And as soon as Yitzhak had blessed Yaakov, and he had gone away from him, behold, Esau came from his hunt from the field, and he also made savory meat, and brought it to his father to eat thereof, and to bless him. And Yitzhak said unto Esau, And who was he who has taken venison and brought it me before you came? And Yitzhak said unto Esau, And who was he who has taken venison and brought it me before you came, and whom I did bless? And Esau knew that his brother Yaakov had done this. And the anger of Esau was kindled against his brother Yaakov, that he had acted thus toward him. And Esau said, Is he not rightly called Yaakov? For he has supplanted me twice. He took away my birthright, and now he has taken away my blessing. And Esau wept greatly. And when Yitzhak heard the voice of his son Esau weeping, Yitzhak said unto Esau, What can I do, my son? Your brother came with subtlety and took away your blessing. And Esau hated his brother Yaakov on account of the blessing that his father had given him, and his anger was greatly roused against him. And Yaakov was very much afraid of his brother Esau, and he rose up and fled to the house of Eber, the son of Shem, and he concealed himself there on account of his brother. And Yaakov was 63 years old when he went forth from the land of Canaan, from Hebron, and Yaakov was concealed in Eber's house 14 years on account of his brother Esau. And he there continued to learn the ways of Yahuwah and his commandments. And when Esau saw that Yaakov had fled and escaped from him, and that Yaakov had cunningly obtained the blessing, then Esau grieved exceedingly. And he was also vexed at his father and mother. And he also rose up and took his woman and went away from his father and mother to the land of Seir. And he dwelt there. And Esau saw there a woman from amongst the daughters of Heth, whose name was Basmath, the daughter of Elion the Hittite, and he took her for a woman in addition to his first woman. And Esau called her name Adah, saying the blessing had in that time passed from him. And Esau dwelt in the land of Seir 6 months without seeing his father and mother. And afterward Esau took his women and rose up and returned to the land of Canaan. And Esau placed his 2 women in his father's house in Hebron. And the women of Esau vexed and provoked Yitzhak and Ribkah with their works, for they walked not in the ways of Yahuwah, but served their father's Elohim of wood and stone, as their father had taught them. And they were more wicked than their father. And they went according to the evil desires of their hearts, and they sacrificed and burnt incense to the Baalim. And Yitzhak and Ribkah became weary of them. And Ribkah said, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Yaakov take a woman of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are of the daughters of the land, what good then is life unto me? And in those days Adah, the woman of Esau, conceived and bore him a son. And Esau called the name of the son that was born unto him Eliphaz. And Esau was 65 years old when she bore him. And Ishmael, the son of Abraham, died in those days, in the 64th year of the life of Yaakov. And all the days that Ishmael lived were 137 years, and he died. And when Yitzhak heard that Ishmael was dead, he mourned for him, and Yitzhak lamented over him many days. And at the end of 14 years of Yaakov's residing in the house of Eber, Yaakov desired to see his father and mother. And Yaakov came to the house of his father and mother to Hebron. And Esau had in those days forgotten what Yaakov had done to him in having taken the blessing from him in those days. And when Esau saw Yaakov coming to his father and mother, he remembered what Yaakov had done to him, and he was greatly incensed against him, and he sought to slay him. And Yitzhak, the son of Abraham, was old and advanced in days, and Esau said, Now my father's time is drawing nigh that he must die. And when he shall die, I will slay my brother Yaakov. And this was told to Ribkah. And she hastened and sent and called for Yaakov her son. And she said unto him, Arise, go and flee to Haran to my brother Laban, and remain there for some time, until your brother's anger be turned from you, and then shall you come back. And Yitzhak called unto Yaakov and said unto him, Take not a woman from the daughters of Canaan, for thus did our father Abraham command us according to the word of Yahuwah, which he had commanded him, saying, Unto your seed will I give this land, if your children guard my covenant that I have made with you. Then will I also perform to your children that which I have spoken unto you, and I will not forsake them. Now, therefore, my son, hearken to my voice, to all that I shall command you, and refrain from taking a woman from amongst the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Haran, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take unto you a woman from there, from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. Therefore, take heed lest you should forget Yahuwah Elohika and all his ways in the land to which you go, and should get connected with the people of the land, and pursue vanity and forsake Yahuwah Elohika. But when you come to the land, serve there Yahuwah. Do not turn to the right or to the left from the way which I commanded you, in which you did learn. And may El Shaddai grant you favor in the sight of the people of the earth, that you may take there a woman according to your choice, one who is good and upright in the ways of Yahuwah. And may Elohim give unto you and your seed the blessing of your father Abraham, and make you fruitful and multiply you, and make you become a multitude of people in the land whither you go. And may Elohim cause you to return to this land, the land of your father's dwelling, with children and with great riches, with joy and with pleasure. And Yitzhak finished commanding Yaakov and blessing him, and he gave him many gifts, together with silver and gold, and he sent him away. And Yaakov hearkened to his father and mother. He kissed them, and arose and went to Padan Aram. And Yaakov was 77 years old when he went out from the land of Canaan from Beersheba. And when Yaakov went away to go to Haran, Esau called unto his son Eliphaz, and secretly spoke unto him, saying, Now hasten, take your sword in your hand, and pursue Yaakov, and pass before him in the road, and lurk for him, and slay him with your sword in one of the mountains, and take all belonging to him, and come back. And Eliphaz the son of Esau was an active man and expert with the bow, as his father had taught him. And he was a noted hunter in the field and a valiant man. And Eliphaz did as his father had commanded him. And Eliphaz was at that time 13 years old. And Eliphaz rose up and went and took 10 of his mother's brothers with him, and pursued Yaakov. And he closely followed Yaakov, and he lurked for him in the border of the land of Canaan, opposite to the city of Shechem. And Yaakov saw Eliphaz and his men pursuing him. And Yaakov stood still in the place in which he was going, in order to know what this was. For he did not know the thing. And Eliphaz drew his sword, and he went on advancing, he and his men, toward Yaakov. And Yaakov said unto them, What is to do with you that you have come hither? And what does it mean that you pursue with your swords? And Eliphaz came near to Yaakov, and he answered and said unto him, Thus did my father command me, and now therefore I will not deviate from the orders which my father gave me. And when Yaakov saw that Esau had spoken to Eliphaz to employ force, Yaakov then approached and supplicated Eliphaz and his men, saying to him, Behold, all that I have, in which my father and my mother gave unto me, that take unto you and go from me, and do not slay me, and may this thing be accounted unto you a righteousness. And Yahuwah caused Yaakov to find favor in the sight of Eliphaz, the son of Esau, and his men, and they hearkened to the voice of Yaakov, and they did not put him to death. And Eliphaz and his men took all belonging to Yaakov, together with the silver and gold that he had brought with him from Beersheba. They left him nothing. And Eliphaz and his men went away from him, and they returned to Esau to Beersheba, and they told him all that had occurred to them with Yaakov. And they gave him all that they had taken from Yaakov. And Esau was indignant at Eliphaz his son, and at his men that were with him, because they had not put Yaakov to death. And they answered and said unto Esau, Because Yaakov supplicated us in this matter not to slay him, our pity was excited toward him, and we took all belonging to him and brought it unto you. And Esau took all the silver and gold which Eliphaz had taken from Yaakov, and he put them in his house. And he put them by in his house. At that time, when Esau saw that Yitzhak had blessed Yaakov and had commanded him, saying, "You shall not take a woman from amongst the daughters of Canaan," and that the daughters of Canaan were bad in the sight of Yitzhak and Ribkah, then he went to the house of Ishmael, his uncle, and in addition to his other women, he took Machlath, the daughter of Ishmael, the sister of Nebaioth, for a woman. Chapter 30. And Yaakov went forth, continuing his road to Haran, and he came as far as Mount Moriah, and he tarried there all night near the city of Luz. And Yahuwah appeared there unto Yaakov on that night, and he said unto him, I am Yahuwah Elohim of Abraham, and the Elohim of Yitzhak your father. The land upon which you lie I will give unto you and your seed. And behold, I am with you, and will guard you wherever you go, and I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and I will cause all your enemies to fall before you. And when they shall make war with you, they shall not prevail over you. And I will bring you again unto this land with joy, with children and with great riches. And Yaakov awoke from his sleep, and he rejoiced greatly at the vision which he had seen. And he called the name of that place Bet El. And Yaakov rose up from that place quite rejoiced. And when he walked, his feet felt light to him for joy. And he went from there to the land of the children of the east. And he returned to Haran, and he sat by the shepherd's well. And he sat by the shepherd's well. And he there found some men going from Haran to feed their flocks. And Yaakov made inquiries of them, and they said, We are from Haran. And he said unto them, Do you know Laban, the son of Nachor? And they said, We know him, and behold, his daughter Rachel is coming along to feed her father's flock. While he was yet speaking with them, Rachel, the daughter of Laban, came to feed her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. And when Yaakov saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, he ran and kissed her, and lifted up his voice and wept. And Yaakov told Rachel that he was the son of Ribkah, her father's sister. And Rachel ran and told her father. And Yaakov continued to cry because he had nothing with him to bring to the house of Laban. And when Laban heard that his sister's son Yaakov had come, he ran and kissed him and embraced him and brought him into the house and gave him bread, and he ate. And Yaakov related to Laban what his brother Esau had done to him, and what his son Eliphaz had done to him in the road. And Yaakov resided in Laban's house for 1 month, and Yaakov ate and drank in the house of Laban. And afterward Laban said unto Yaakov, Tell me, what shall be your wages? For how can you serve me for naught? And Laban had no sons, but only daughters. And his other women and handmaids were still barren in those days. And these are the names of Laban's daughters, which his woman Adinah had borne unto him. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. And Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored, and Yaakov loved her. And Yaakov said unto Laban, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel your younger daughter. And Laban consented to this. And Yaakov served Laban 7 years for his daughter Rachel. And in the 2nd year of Yaakov's dwelling in Haran, this is in the 79th year of the life of Yaakov. In that year died Eber, the son of Shem. He was 464 years old at his death. And when Yaakov heard that Eber was dead, he grieved exceedingly, and he lamented and mourned over him for many days. And in the 3rd year of Yaakov's dwelling in Haran, Basmath, the daughter of Ishmael, the woman of Esau, bore unto him a son, and Esau called his name Reuel. And in the 4th year of Jacob's residence in the house of Laban, Yahuwah visited Laban and remembered him on account of Jacob, and sons were born unto him. And his firstborn was Beor, his second was Alib, and the third was Horash. And Yahuwah gave Laban riches and honor, sons and daughters. And the man increased greatly on account of Jacob. And Jacob in those days served Laban in all manner of work, in the house and in the field. And the blessing of Yahuwah was in all that belonged to Laban in the house and in the field. And in the 5th year died Yahudith, the daughter of Beeri, the woman of Esau, in the land of Canaan, and she had no sons but daughters only. And these are the names of her daughters which she bore to Esau. The name of the elder was Marzit, and the name of the younger was Puith. And when Yahudith died, Esau rose up and went to Seir to hunt in the field, as usual. And Esau dwelt in the land of Seir for a long time. And in the 6th year, Esau took for a woman, in addition to his other women, Oholibamah, the daughter of Sivon, the Hivi. And Esau brought her to the land of Canaan. And Oholibamah conceived and bore unto Esau 3 sons, Yeush, Yaalan, and Korach. And in those days, in the land of Canaan, there was a quarrel between the herdsmen of Esau and the herdsmen of the inhabitants of the land of Canaan. For Esau's cattle and goods were too abundant for him to remain in the land of Canaan, in his father's house, and the land of Canaan could not bear him on account of his cattle. And when Esau saw that his quarreling increased with the inhabitants of the land of Canaan, he rose up and took his women and his sons and his daughters and all belonging to him, and the cattle which he possessed, and all his property that he had acquired in the land of Canaan. And he went away from the inhabitants of the land to the land of Seir. And Esau and all belonging to him dwelt in the land of Seir. But from time to time, Esau would go and see his father and mother in the land of Canaan. And Esau intermarried with the Horim, and he gave his daughters to the sons of Seir, the Hori. And he gave his elder daughter, Marzith, to Anah, the son of Zivon, his woman's brother. And Puith he gave to Azar, the son of Bilhan, the Hori. And Esau dwelt in the mountain, he and his children, and they were fruitful and multiplied. Chapter 31. And in the 7th year, Jacob's service which he served Laban was completed. And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my woman, for the days of my service are fulfilled. And Laban did so. And Laban and Jacob assembled all the people of that place, and they made a feast. And in the evening Laban came to the house, and afterward Jacob came there with the people of the feast. And Laban extinguished all the lights that were there in the house. And Jacob said unto Laban, Wherefore do you do this thing unto us? And Laban answered, Such is our custom to act in this land. And afterward Laban took his daughter Leah, and he brought her to Jacob. And he came to her, and Jacob did not know that she was Leah. And Laban gave his daughter Leah, his maid, Zilpah, for a handmaid. And all the people at the feast knew what Laban had done to Jacob, but they did not tell the thing to Jacob. And all the neighbors came that night to Jacob's house, and they ate and drank and rejoiced, and played before Leah upon timbrels, and with dances, and they responded before Jacob, Heliah, Heliah. And Jacob heard their words, but did not understand their meaning. But he thought such might be their custom in this land. And the neighbors spoke these words before Jacob during the night. And all the lights that were in the house Laban had that night extinguished. And in the morning, when daylight appeared, Jacob turned to his woman, and he saw, and behold, it was Leah that had been lying in his bosom. And Jacob said, Behold, Now I know what the neighbors had said last night. Heleah, they said, and I knew it not. And Yaakov called unto Laban and said unto him, What is this that you did unto me? Surely I served you for Rachel. And why did you deceive me and did give me Leah? And Laban answered Yaakov, saying, Not so is it done in our place to give the younger before the elder now. Therefore, if you desire to take her sister, likewise, take her unto you for the service which you will serve me for another 7 years. And Yaakov did so. And he also took Rachel for a woman, and he served Laban 7 years more. And Yaakov also came to Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. And Laban gave her his maid Bilhah for a handmaid. And when Yahuwah saw that Leah was hated, Yahuwah opened her womb, and she conceived and bore Yaakov 4 sons in those days. And these are their names: Reuben, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. And she afterward left bearing. And at that time Rachel was barren, and she had no offspring. And Rachel envied her sister Leah. And when Rachel saw that she bore no children to Yaakov, she took her handmaid Bilhah, and she bore Yaakov 2 sons, Dan and Naphtali. And when Leah saw that she had left bearing, she also took her handmaid Zilpah, and she gave her to Yaakov for a woman. And Yaakov also came to Zilpah, and she also bore Yaakov 2 sons, Gad and Asher. And Leah again conceived and bore Yaakov in those days 2 sons and 1 daughter. And these are their names: Yashar, Zebulun, and their sister Dinah. And Rachel was still barren in those days. And Rachel prayed unto Yahuwah at that time. And she said, O Yahuwah Elohim, remember me and visit me, I beseech you. For now my man will cast me off, for I have borne him no children. Now, O Yahuwah Elohim, hear my supplication before you, and see my affliction, and give me children like one of the handmaids, that I may no longer bear my reproach. And Elohim heard her and opened her womb, and Rachel conceived and bore a son. And she said, Yahuwah has taken away my reproach. And she called his name Yosef, saying, May Yahuwah add to me another son. And Yaakov was 91 years old when she bore him. At that time, Yaakov's mother, Ribkah, sent her nurse Deborah, the daughter of Utz, and 2 of Yitzchak's servants unto Yaakov. And they came to Yaakov to Haran, and they said unto him, Ribkah has sent us to you, that you shall return to your father's house, to the land of Canaan. And Yaakov hearkened unto them in which his mother had spoken. At that time, the other 7 years which Yaakov served Laban for Rachel were completed. And it was at the end of 14 years that he had dwelt in Haran, that Yaakov said unto Laban, Give me my women and send me away, that I may go to my land. For behold, my mother did send unto me from the land at Canaan, that I should return to my father's house. And Laban said unto him, Not so, I pray you. If I have found favor in your sight, do not leave me. Appoint me your wages, and I will give them and remain with me. And Yaakov said unto him, This is what you shall give me for wages, that I shall this day pass through all your flock, and take away from them every lamb that is speckled and spotted, and such as are brown amongst the sheep, and amongst the goats. And if you will do this thing for me, I will return and feed your flock, and keep them as at first. And Laban did so. And Laban removed from his flock all that Yaakov had said, and gave them to him. And Yaakov placed all that he had removed from Laban's flock in the hands of his sons. And Yaakov was feeding the remainder of Laban's flock. And when the servants of Yitzchak, which he had sent unto Yaakov, saw that Yaakov would not then return with them to the land of Canaan to his father, they then went away from him, and they returned home to the land of Canaan. And Deborah remained with Yaakov in Haran, and she did not return with the servants of Yitzchak to the land of Canaan. And Deborah resided with Yaakov's women and children in Haran. And Yaakov served Laban 6 years longer, and when the sheep brought forth, Yaakov removed from them such as were speckled and spotted, as he had determined with Laban. And Yaakov did so at Laban's for 6 years. And the man increased abundantly, and he had cattle and maidservants and menservants, camels and asses. And Yaakov had 200 drove of cattle, and his cattle were of large size and of beautiful appearance, and were very productive. And all the families of the sons of men desired to get some of the cattle of Yaakov, for they were exceedingly prosperous. And many of the sons of men came to procure some of Yaakov's flock, and Yaakov gave them a sheep for a manservant or a maidservant, or for an ass or a camel, or whatsoever Yaakov desired from them they gave him. And Yaakov obtained riches and honor and possessions by means of these transactions with the sons of men. And the children of Laban envied him of this honor. And in the course of time, he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Yaakov has taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's, he has acquired all this glory. And Yaakov beheld the countenance of Laban and of his children, and behold, it was not toward him in those days as it had been before. And Yahweh appeared to Yaakov at the expiration of the 6 years, and said unto him, Arise, go forth out of this land, and return to the land of your birthplace, and I will be with you. And Yaakov rose up at that time, and he mounted his children and women, and all belonging to him upon camels. And he went forth to go to the land of Canaan to his father Yitzhak. And Laban did not know that Yaakov had gone from him, for Laban had been that day sheep shearing. And Rachel stole her father's images, and she took them, and she concealed them upon the camel upon which she sat, and she went on. And this is the manner of the images. And taking a man who is the firstborn, and slaying him, and taking the hair off his head, and taking salt, and salting the head, and anointing it in oil. Then taking a small tablet of copper, or a tablet of gold, and writing the name upon it, and placing the tablet under his tongue, and taking the head with the tablet under the tongue, and putting it in the house, and lighting up lights before it, and bowing down to it. And at the time when they bow down to it, it speaks to them in all matters that they ask of it, through the power of the name which is written in it. And some make them in the figures of men, of gold and silver, and go to them in times known to them. And the figures receive the influence of the stars, and tell them future things. And in this manner were the images which Rachel stole from her father. And Rachel stole these images which were her father's, in order that Laban might not know through them where Yaakov had gone. And Laban came home, and he asked concerning Yaakov and his household, and he was not to be found. And Laban sought his images to know where Yaakov had gone, and could not find them. And he went to some other images, and he inquired of them. And they told him that Yaakov had fled from him to his fathers, to the land of Canaan. And Laban then rose up, and he took his brothers and all his servants, and he went forth and pursued Yaakov. And he overtook him in Mount Gilead. And Laban said unto Yaakov, What is this you have done to me, to flee and deceive me, and lead my daughters and their children as captives taken by the sword? And you did not suffer me to kiss them and send them away with joy. And you did steal my Elohim, and did go away. And Yaakov answered Laban, saying, Because I was afraid lest you would take your daughters by force from me. And now with whomsoever you find your Elohim, he shall die. And Laban searched for the images, and he examined all Yaakov's tents and furniture, but could not find them. And Laban said unto Yaakov, We will cut a covenant together, and it shall be a testimony between me and you. If you shall afflict my daughters, or shall take other women besides my daughters, even Elohim shall be a witness between me and you in this matter. And they took stones and made a heap. And Laban said, This heap is a witness between me and you. Therefore he called the name thereof Gilad. And Yaakov and Laban offered sacrifice upon the mount, and they ate there by the heap, and they tarried in the mount all night. And Laban rose up early in the morning, and he wept with his daughters, and he kissed them, and he returned unto his place. And he hastened and sent off his son Beor, who was 17 years old, with Abichoroth, the son of Uz, the son of Nachor, and with them were 10 men. And they hastened and went and passed on the road before Yaakov. And they came by another road to the land of Seir. And they came unto Esau and said unto him, Thus says your brother and relative, your mother's brother Laban, the son of Bethuel, saying, Have you heard that Yaakov your brother has Have you heard what Yaakov your brother has done unto me, who first came to me naked and bare? And I went to meet him and brought him to my house with honor, and I made him great. And I gave him my 2 daughters for women, and also 2 of my maids. And Elohim blessed him on my account, and he increased abundantly, and had sons, daughters, and maidservants. He has also an immense stock of flocks and herds, camels and asses, also silver and gold in abundance. And when he saw that his wealth increased, he left me while I went to shear my sheep. And he rose up and fled in secrecy. And he lifted his women and children upon camels. And he led away all his cattle and property, which he had acquired in my land. And he lifted up his countenance to go to his father Yitzhak, to the land of Canaan. And he did not suffer me to kiss my daughters and their children. And he led my daughters as captives taken by the sword. And he also stole my Elohim, and he fled. And now I have left him in the mountain of the brook of Yabok, him and all belonging to him. He lacks nothing. If it be your wish to go to him, go then, and there you will find him, and you can do unto him as your soul desires. And Laban's messengers came and told Esau all these things. And Esau heard all the words of Laban's messengers, and his anger was greatly kindled against Yaakov, and he remembered his hatred, and his anger burned within him. And Esau hastened and took his children and servants and the souls of his household, being 60 men, and he went and assembled all the children of Seir, the Hori, and their people, being 340 men, and took all this number of 400 men with drawn swords, and he went unto Yaakov to smite him. And Esau divided this number into several parts, and he took the 60 men of his children and servants, and the souls of his household as one head, and gave them in care of Eliphaz, his eldest son. And the remaining heads he gave to the care of the 6 sons of Seir, the Hori. And he placed every man over his generation and children. And the whole of this camp went as it was. And Esau went amongst them toward Yaakov, and he conducted them with speed. And Laban's messengers departed from Esau and went to the land of Canaan. And they came to the house of Ribkah, the mother of Yaakov and Esau. And they told her, saying, Behold, your son Esau has gone against his brother Yaakov with 400 men, for he heard that he was coming, and he is gone to make war with him, and to smite him, and to take all that he has. And Ribkah hastened and sent 72 men from the servants of Yitzhak to meet Yaakov on the road. For she said, Perchance Esau may make war in the road when he meets him. And these messengers went on the road to meet Yaakov, and they met him in the road of the brook on the opposite side of the brook Yabok. And Yaakov said when he saw them, This camp is destined to me, from Elohim. And Yaakov called the name of that place Machanaim. And Yaakov knew all his father's people, and he kissed them and embraced them and came with them. And Yaakov asked them concerning his father and mother, and they said they were well. And these messengers said unto Yaakov, Ribkah your mother has sent us to you, saying, I have heard, my son, that your brother Esau has gone forth against you on the road with men from the children of Seir, the Hori. And therefore, my son, hearken to my voice, and see with your counsel what you will do. And when he comes up to you, supplicate him, and do not speak rashly to him, and give him a present from what you possess, and from what Elohim has favored you with. And when he asks you concerning your affairs, conceal nothing from him. Perhaps he may turn from his anger against you, and you will thereby save your soul, you and all belonging to you. For it is your duty to honor him, for he is your elder brother. And when Yaakov heard the words of his mother, which the messengers had spoken to him, Yaakov lifted up his voice and wept bitterly, and did as his mother then commanded him. The end of chapter 31. Psalms, Tehilliym, chapter 69. To the chief musician, upon Shushanim, a Mizmor of David. Save me, O Elohim, for the waters have come in unto my soul. I sink in deep mire where there is no standing. I have come into deep waters where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying. My throat is dry. My eyes fail while I wait for my Elohim. They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of my head. They that would destroy me, being my enemies wrongfully, are mighty. Then I restored that which I took not away. O Elohim, you know my foolishness, and my sins are not hidden from you. Let not them that wait on you, O Adonai Yahuwah Sevaoth, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek you be confounded for my sake, O Eloi of Yasharel. Because for your sake I have borne reproach. Shame has covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. For the zeal of your house has eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproached you have fallen upon me. When I wept and chastened my soul with fasting, that was to my reproach. I made sackcloth also my garment, and I became a proverb to them. And they that sit in the gate speak against me, and I was the song of the drunkards. But as for me, my prayer is unto you, O Yahuwah, in an acceptable time. O Elohim, in the multitude of your mercy, hear me. In the truth of your deliverance, deliver me out of the mire, and let me not sink. Let me be delivered from them that hate me, and out of the deep waters. Let not the water flood overflow me, neither let the deep swallow me up, and let not the pit shut her mouth upon me. Hear me, O Yahuwah, for your loving kindness is good. Turn unto me according to the multitude of your tender mercies, and hide not your face from your servant, for I am in trouble. Hear me speedily. Draw nigh unto my soul and redeem it. Deliver me because of my enemies. You have known my reproach and my shame and my dishonor. My adversaries are all before you. Reproach has broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. And I looked for some to take pity, but there was none. And for comforters, but I found none. They gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink. Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their loins continually to shake. Pour out your indignation upon them, and let your wrathful anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let no one dwell in their tents. For they persecute him whom you have smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom you have wounded. Add iniquity unto their iniquity, and let them not come into your righteousness. Let them be blotted out of the Cepher of the living, and not be written with the righteous. But I am poor and sorrowful. Let your deliverance, O Elohim, set me up on high. I will praise the name of Elohim with a song and will magnify him with thanksgiving. This also shall please Yahuwah better than an ox or bullock that has horns and hoofs. The humble shall see this and be glad, and your heart shall live that seek Elohim. For Yahuwah hears the poor and despises not his prisoners. Let the heavens and earth praise him, the seas and everything that moves therein. For Elohim will save Zion and will build the cities of Yehuda, that they may dwell there and have it in possession. The seed also of his servants shall inherit it, and they that love his name shall dwell therein. Blessed is his name. Hallelujah. All praise and glory to the Most High Yahuwah. In the name of the Son, Yahushua Mashiach, our Savior, the one who shed his blood, the one who gave his life willingly on that stake, on that cross. Thank you, Most High, for this time. Thank you for this Shabbat. Thank you for the word that became flesh. And I pray this is a blessing to you. Read the word, study it, and ask the Father for understanding. And ask to be filled with the Holy Spirit. Thank you, Yahuwah. All praise and glory to you, Father, Most High Yah. Yah willing, I'll see you in the next reading. Shabbat Shalom.